Hello guys, thanks for stopping by. This video is going to be a little bit different from my normal videos. It's not going to be dealing with geopolitics or socio-economics or matters that are particularly esoteric. It's going to be Stonehenge that I talk about. Before I start, imagine if the Egyptian government had gone to one of their great pyramids and used heavy lifting equipment to remove the blocks one by one, and then start digging and excavating and pulling the ground apart beneath them. Then imagine it was put back together again using modern equipment and modern concrete. Then imagine that the Egyptian government brushed it under the carpet and no mention of it was made in the official guidebooks. At least no mention of any consequence, certainly not advising people of the extent of the rebuild. Well, that situation arose with Stonehenge. And it hasn't arisen just once, it's arisen 3 times within the last century. First in 1901, second in 1919, and then most extensively in 1958, where the site was virtually cleared of all of the stones. Then the site was excavated, and then the heavy lifting equipment came back in and put the stones into remade holes on which they were backfilled with ready-mixed concrete. Sadly, Stonehenge is today nothing more than a modern representation of an ancient monument, because it was dismantled and rebuilt. Yet the guidebooks, the history books, and the official documents all say Stonehenge was built 4,000 years ago or thereabouts. There's no reference that it was built in 1958 using ready-mixed concrete and steel and wooden blocks, with the stones lifted into place using cranes and heavy lift equipment. How the British government got away with destroying an ancient monument and rebuilding it, I've absolutely no idea. Well, I do, but that's a subject for another video, as will be the plans for the tunnel underneath Stonehenge, and the real reason that the excavation work was carried out, and the real reason and that the tunnelling underneath the site. But what is more important than any of that is the alignments. We can now never know for sure where those stones were aligned to. Even a fraction of a degree, when you're looking at stars light years away, is going to throw the measurements off. And we now have no idea where the stones were pointing to, where they were aligned to. Were they really there to measure the solar cycle or the lunar cycle, as many people have put forward? Or were they there to point perhaps at some other celestial event that takes place? We have lost that now. There is no way of ever getting that information back. The approximation that we now have, that is being passed as some form of ancient untouched, apart from conservation work site, is nothing of the sort. It is a rebuild, it's a copy, it's a replica of what was there. This is very important for historians, and it's also important for people who study the New World Order, because what we have now is an ancient archaeological site that has been rebuilt. I don't want to go on too much about this, but you can see that it clearly goes well beyond conservation. It goes to dismantling an ancient historic site. It goes to excavating an ancient historic site, and then it goes to rebuilding a site which is now no longer historic because it was taken down and it was rebuilt in the 1950s. So as far as I'm concerned, that site is now a modern representation of something that used to be there. And that is it, guys. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope somebody somewhere has found it to be of interest. And until next time, take care.